Hello, everyone. Welcome to Word Funk. I'm Leon Thomas. I'm joined by Austin Yorsky and Johnny Maloney. We have a few things to talk about this week. Johnny has some stuff going on in his life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how much you want to talk about. Usually you're pretty upfront.
I'm totally comfortable talking about it.
Okay.
This is we can do this.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like his name has kind of been sullied by what has become of the new atheist movement after his passing. But I thought that Christopher Hitchens, during his passing, when he decided that he was going to very explicitly write about what it was like to die, I thought that was brave. I don't know if either of you guys have read the book that he wrote.
I have not.
But yeah, it's I remember very stirringly he talks about how during chemotherapy he's like, all your hair falls out, and he's like, yeah, we see that in popular media all the time, but what you're not prepared for are weird side effects of all your hair falling out, you lose all your nostril hair. That comes out, and I remember reading these paragraphs about how it's so you perpetually just have this dribbly nose, and it's never just oh, I've got a dribbly nose. It's a constant reminder that you're tremendously sick and you're going to die. But I'm totally comfortable talking about what's going on with me right now.
Okay.
So that's on the table, but I feel that's not really the lead here.
No, it's certainly not. I just, I was just saying in passing, Johnny's got things going on, and I have far less, seemingly less important stuff going on as well.
Yeah, but this is a podcast about ostensibly us.
I mean, I get it, that's certainly true. Okay, well, if I guess a lot of people are probably going to click on this podcast this week to hear us talk about Avengers: Infinity War. Austin saw it and I saw it, and Johnny has not seen it, but has assured us that it does not matter if we spoil everything.
Yeah,
and that's fine. That's his outlook on media. I'm the opposite, so I'm always careful about just in case. But he's cool with it, so this is what we're doing. I have plenty of thoughts, but I know Austin tweeted about it. In very mathematical terms, here are my 3 pros and here are my 3 cons. So I feel that's a good place to start.
Did you arrange that, Austin? Were you let's give it 3 each side, or was that just did the numbers just kind of fall that way?
No, it wasn't a very pre-planned thing. That was just notes I was taking in the car on the way back because I knew I was going to forget by the time we got to the.
So run them down for me. What are the 3 pros and 3 cons of Avengers: Infinity War Part 1?
Now you have to find the tweet.
No, I haven't.
We don't know that it's called Part 1, even though it almost certainly is. The next Avengers movie could be called something like Infinity Gauntlet or something, but we'll see.
Infinity Boner.
Yeah, it could be literally anything.
I mean, it originally was called Infinity War Part 1 and 2, and they changed it because it makes it seem like they're just 2 halves of a story instead of one. And guess what, boys? That's exactly what it is.
They're 2 halves of a story?
Yeah. In a way, that seems to be what it is, but it's also the longest Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, so it's not half a movie you just watch 75 minutes of a movie. You watch the longest Marvel movie, but you still... You end on a cliffhanger with it, basically.
Okay.
I'm still kind of reeling. I'm still kind of amazed that this 10 years in the making kind of thing has finally kind of come to fruition. And it's funny because I look at the cast, right, and I'm like, wow, check out the all-star power of the Marvel universe, and then I'm like, wait a minute. A lot of those Marvel All-Stars are, because of the Marvel All-Star universe.
Yeah.
Chris Evans was the Human Torch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Career makers.
Robert Downey Jr. was done.
Yeah, this was his comeback.
If it weren't for this, we would just think of him as the weird science guy, obviously.
Yeah. Chris Pratt was the goofy dude on Parks and Rec.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, they all had careers. They weren't unknowns. But yes, this was clearly a big boost for pretty much everyone.
All right, so I have the tweet here, and I want to say we're going to start no spoilers, so people who haven't seen it yet can enjoy some talk, and then I guess if you want to put in a spoiler warning, I don't know if you want to put a time code in the description or something, but I do need to talk about some spoiler stuff later, but we'll keep it spoiler-free for now. Okay?
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so I have here written in my tweet, the pros are the comedy, the structure, and the scale. Now, comedy speaks for itself. I laughed a ton in the movie. My brother was with me, too. He laughed a ton. It was just a very, very funny movie. And obviously, all the Marvel movies have quips, but usually they all kind of sound like they're coming from the same comedic voice. Joss Whedon voice is kind of the Avengers tone, usually. This was not a Joss Whedon joint, and all the characters have pretty distinct voices. The one that absolutely floored me was fucking... this scene, and this is only the tiniest spoiler because everyone knows he's in the movie. I mean, did you guys know going in that there was going to be a cameo from everyone's favorite Game of Thrones character?
Oh,
I don't
Peter
know what
Dinklage?
you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I had heard that Peter Dinklage
yeah.
was in the movie. Yes.
Okay.
I did not know he was going to be in it. He showed up, and I whispered to the person next to me who came with me, "That's Peter Dinklage," because I was surprised.
And then
so
did
that's
they
cool.
say really loudly, "Who?"
No. I'm pretty sure that person actually watches Game of Thrones.
Because this is why you should never bring me to the movie theater because I would be that guy.
Johnny's the guy who always yells, "That's Chappie," when Chappie shows up. But yeah, Peter Dinklage is in this movie, which I was surprised by, and he has the scene. It's just so fucking phenomenally funny that we couldn't hear the dialogue. Our theater was laughing so hard. The movie is just extremely funny, which is funny. Oh, that's poor word choice. Which is interesting because this movie is going to be remembered as being extremely dark. Although we'll get there. The structure and the scale are pretty simple. Structurally, this is actually like 4 different plots that don't really intersect. There's like Thor's team who are going to make a weapon. There's Iron Man's team who are getting kidnapped into space. There's Captain America's team who are trying to protect these love interests from stuff. And then there's the was even the other team. There's just like a bunch of different people who are having their own thing. It's not like Avengers where they all meet up and they're like
Team
together.
Rocket?
Rocket is with Thor.
Okay. Can we call that Team Rocket?
We might as well.
Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy is the other team. Yeah, they do their thing.
Well,
I thought you would be
the
so
two...
proud of me there, Austin. I just made a Pokemon joke.
You know what? You did, and I fucked up. That's on me. I should have recognized that. You killed it.
Oh, my.
In this moment, I am the fool.
It's fine.
And as scale is just this is the 19th or 18th movie in a series.
It's the 18th.
Yeah, and it is not a movie. It is the season finale of the most successful season of television in history. And it does, for its other flaws, which we'll get to, it does successfully do the thing they tried to do, which is give every character from this franchise a moment or two to do their thing before giving you the villain we've all been waiting for. So that's what I liked about it. What I didn't like, the first thing I wrote was soundtrack. It's very paint by numbers. There's a couple of moments that are pretty ham-handed. There's one where someone gets punched and the score goes bump bump bump, and I laughed.
Like literally?
Basically.
I'm sorry, but like they're not quite. There's definitely like bomb moments, but no, not literally. This is not an actual comedy. But yeah, I'll be honest, Austin. I agree and don't care about that because
historically, music and video games and movies is much a bigger deal to me than it is to you. Longtime listeners know that.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is I agree because I didn't notice any cool music in the movie, which says you're probably right, but also didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
So we can make the establishing statement that, and this is true of almost I think every Marvel movie that I've seen, is that they have the most immemorable music because it's just like it just fills the space. It's not whereas like and I can't believe I'm going to say these nice things about the DC universe. Whereas like the DC universe is doing like crazy things like getting Junkie XL to write like the fucking Wonder Woman theme and shit like that. Like they're it's pushing. It's pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
I'm fine with him not doing that, though. As for in terms of Marvel, I do like the Avengers theme. I think it's really cool and triumphant, and when it happens in the movie, I get a little pumped up. So I did notice the music, but I noticed the one song.
Yeah, the one you've heard before.
Sure.
Yeah. Also, as con, I wrote CGI and editing, and these ones kind of go together because there are long stretches of the movie where there's no problem at all with these. But when it's bad, it is extraordinarily bad. There's a female minor villain whose name I didn't catch. Actually, they don't say it in the film, but her face is CGI'd in just an incredibly distracting way, and there's a bunch of other CGI shots, amongst many top-tier ones. Like, some of the best ever put on film. There's just some that are bad. And
if we ever refer to this minor villain again, can we call her Strawberry Razor Blades?
Sure, that would be fun. There's just a mini boss squad made up of characters. In the movie, they're called the Children of Thanos. In the comics, they're called like the Black something. They're not
That's a pretty vague name.
Well, all their names are literally just other words for black. There's like a character named Ebony Maw.
Okay, so they're not actually called, quote, the Black something.
Oh, no. I think it's the Black Order.
Okay.
But in the movie, none of them really get names except for they call Ebony Maw. Yeah, it's worth talking about the Sons of Thanos at another opportunity because they're interesting the way they're implemented. But so to finish this pros and cons list, the CGI is spotty. There's a couple of really distracting bad parts. And the editing. There's a couple fight scenes which are chopped and screwed a little bit too heavily to try to keep up this kinetic pace because it's a 7-hour movie in a 2.5-hour movie bag, and they just gotta keep going. The only one that was painful is the big emotional climax when there is a crossfade that if you turned it in film school, you would fail that class. It was bad. There's an extreme editing error at the most emotional moment of this film, and I hope if they fix it for like the future releases because it's unacceptable. And that's all.
I may have missed that, but that could have been because I was crying.
Yeah,
I'm joking. I didn't actually cry during this movie, but I understand. But we'll get to why some people are crying.
This raises an interesting question for me, just kind of like right out of the gate. Do you think we'll get a director's cut or like an extended edition of this movie?
That usually doesn't happen with
Marvel movies.
Marvel movies.
No,
we do get that from time to time with a lot of other movies, including some from DC. But Marvel is like, no, we nailed it. We obviously did it well. Look at how much money we made, and then that's it. That's pretty much it.
If any of the Marvel movies did, it'd be this one. Partially because I think it was clearly edited to get a PG-13 because there's some pretty extreme stuff that happens in here that is edited in a way so that you don't see it very clearly. I think maybe they could restore some of that, and then there's just like I said, some of the fight scenes seem to be chopped a little bit. So
what I like, here's the thing. All right, is that Marvel seems to have its game tight when it comes to crafting the movie before you actually like go and work to get it made. Like, there's not even a lot of missing scenes on a bunch of the DVDs or anything like that. If any, like, because I own a bunch of them. I think the only ones that I don't own right now are Ragnarok and Black Panther. And I think only Ragnarok is out at this point in time in home formats. But oh no, I'm gonna be awful today.
Why? What's wrong?
I can't keep a thought straight.
No.
But yeah, like, it would seem to me like crafting Infinity War, you might just wind up with more stuff, and then have to break it down afterwards.
It's possible. I think one of the main triumphs of this movie is the way in which it is in a very impressive feat of screenwriting. Not that someone had a great idea and translated it to the medium of film in this perfect way. In that way, it's actually a failure. But in the sense that someone said, hey, we need you to make a movie which gives all 27,000 characters a cool moment and a funny line, and you need to pay off this villain we've been building to, and you need to set up the next movie. And someone did that in an acceptable way that millions of people paid to see. That is actually super impressive. This movie should be a fucking disaster, and it's mostly fine.
Yeah, I think the best thing I'll just spoiler alert, I enjoyed it, but like in detail, I will say that this movie has some problems, but it's almost impressive that it's not a disaster.
I would go farther. I'd say it's nigh miraculous that it's as good as it is.
Yeah, the fact that this very easily, they were walking quite a tightrope with this. This very easily could have been a disaster, like a complete catastrophe, or at the very least, so middling that it would have been incredibly disappointing based on the build-up. But it's fun. I enjoyed myself while watching it, and I think that's what most people will get out of it. I don't think anyone thinks this is going to be Best Picture or anything, and I don't think anyone is going to say that it was. Well, that's not true. Some people do think it sucks.
Can you guys quickly? Actually, no. Okay, I'll wait till spoilers to ask this question.
Yeah,
I mean we're getting there. There's only so many structural
I don't want to
things.
jump the gun. Okay, look, my brain's going everywhere all at the same time right now, and you're going to have trouble tracking my thoughts. So.
Yeah, there's only so many structural things we can talk about, and I'm not really. Austin will make a quip about the fact that I'm like almost a film critic, but I don't really care to talk. I don't really care to talk about everyone's like individual acting performance. Everyone was fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
They know what they're doing by now.
Yeah, everything is fine. It's the least interesting part of movies to me.
We don't have to talk about how Danny Rand is maybe just a little bit better in The Defenders than he is in Iron Fist. So,
God, I'm so excited for the Netflix universe implications of this. We'll get to it in spoilers, but
I bet here, Austin. Yeah. I bet there's none at all. I bet all of the Netflix things are just going to take place right before, just like Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place before the big thing happens, coming out in a few months.
Yep, and Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s, I think.
Way before.
All the movies between this and the next, the rest of the story aren't actually set in that time because you can't.
Yeah, you literally can't.
Okay, do you want to timestamp it? Because we might as well. We'll just do an air horn. Pew, 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 pew. If you heard that, that's a spoiler noise. Pew, 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 pew.
That is a great sound.
Thank you.
Okay. Austin, would you like? I'll spoil it. I'll spoil it.
You can spoil the movie.
No, hold on. Yeah. I got one question because I heard rumors about this, and I just want to check and see whether or not it's true. Does Captain Marvel show up?
No.
No, not exactly. In the post-credit scene, Nick Fury tries to contact her, and although we never hear her name or anything like that, his pager shows her symbol.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
So that's basically.
I'm sorry. I'm so stoked for Brie Larson as Carol Danvers. Like, I'm so stoked. She's my girl.
So let me build you up, Leon. So I am aware of comic books from osmosis. I don't really read them. I read Spawn and Hellboy like in middle school. But even me,
because you were what did we call it? A skeleton meme lord.
I was the skeleton meme lord. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, I know it explains a lot. But even
I'll explain. I'll briefly explain what the comic is and what the movie is. Bear in mind, I haven't read it all the way through. I just know a lot about it because I exist in the world.
I can do this really quickly for you. So, all right.
No, go ahead.
So the comic is a bunch of pages, usually made from paper.
Oh God!
Jesus Christ! No, all right. So this is in the comic. Thanos wants the Infinity Gauntlet because he wants to wipe out a lot of people and impress the physical manifestation of death.
He wants the sex death, is what he wants to do.
Yeah, he loves death in a sexual way.
He wants to bone down.
Yeah, he really does. But here's the thing: death is rarely impressed. So Thanos is doing this.
She's seen a lot of shit.
So Thanos is the world's most powerful incel.
Oh my God!
And that is what the comic book is about. The movie is not about that at all. And I mean, in a way, thank goodness, but in another way, woof. What we got instead was something else. So Thanos instead wants to wipe out half the universe because the universe has only so many resources, and the universe would be better off with less people in it. And there's this whole tragic backstory where he used to live on a planet, and they were having an overpopulation problem and a finite resources problem, as planets sometimes do, I guess, in the universe. And his plan was to wipe out half the population. And everyone was like, "That is a bit far," but it turns out in this one instance, Thanos was right. But Thanos' plan to do this in the universe doesn't actually add up in like logically, but the movie doesn't really point that out, so I will point that out. It doesn't work for a lot of reasons. For one thing, the universe will repopulate itself pretty quickly. So there's that.
Yeah, but then you just swoop in again.
I know, but it's just a meaningless thing. But here's the biggest reason why this doesn't make any sense. Thanos wants to do this by getting all of the magic jelly beans into his glove, and then he will snap his fingers and and basically he's God at that point, and he can do literally anything.
Can we call this episode "Magic Jelly Beans in the Glove"?
I thought it was going to be the most powerful incel.
Look, there are a lot of good contenders. I will figure it out later. Here's so anyway, he wants to get the Infinity Stones and snap his fingers and make half the universe go boom. But here's the thing: if he becomes God, he could snap his fingers and just solve the problem without anyone dying. He could, if you make an object in a story infinitely powerful and a character basically God. You have to you start doing a lot of
you can't instantly make them a nice guy.
But the movie does posit that he is nice and trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing. The movie really tries to hammer in the fact that he's in great pain and he really thinks he's doing the right thing and he has love in his heart and he mourns for people, and it's like, dude, you have not thought this through. You could just solve the finite resources power problem instead of, and you're like at the symptom, whereas you can just fix the cause.
Or just invent an anti-pollution machine or something, because this whole thing is we poisoned our planet with all of our bad manufacturing and we couldn't legislate anything. It was you
could do. This is why I've never really understood the character of Forge in the X-Men,
No, I don't.
No, I don't, actually.
You guys don't know Forge?
Nah.
I know he exists. I don't know anything about him except his name, and he's from the future.
His mutant power is basically he can pretty much engineer anything.
Well, that solves everything.
He can invent anything.
Oh, so it's the Reed Richards thing, where it's if you're the smartest man alive and you can bend reality to your will, why don't you just end poverty?
Yeah. So anyway, Thanos could solve the universe's problems by getting all the magic rocks, but he's just really into this whole idea about killing half the universe's population. He is questioned about this once by Gamora, and he explains why he absolutely has to do this, and she's like, "You don't know that," and that's that's her entire argument. You don't know that it'll shake out that way. There are so many better arguments to this, but you know what? I'm picking this apart. His plan doesn't always have to make sense. Evil people, their plans usually aren't good, so it's fine. Yeah. It's fine. That's not really that's like me. I'm gonna have to talk if I ended up doing an episode. I'm gonna have to talk about the philosophy about this and maybe even the science, but nobody has commissioned it yet, so maybe I won't.
Yeah, I mean, he's just an ecological terrorist. It's not actually that groundbreaking.
Yeah, he's not good at all. So anyway, spoilers. He does in fact get all the Infinity Stones. Before any of this happens, he in 10 minutes into the movie, he chokes Loki to death. Loki nobly tries to kill Thanos and save Thor and everyone.
Some would say foolishly, considering he tried to knife someone in a room full of people who are the most powerful in the universe, and he just own everyone he's ever met. But go on.
Yeah, he's. I think Loki just always assumes like he's the best one.
I think the actor just wanted out of his contract. I think is what happened.
Look,
like Idris Elba
did
also
enough.
died in that scene, and Elba has been very forthcoming that he doesn't want to do the movies anymore. That felt like you guys want to be out? Fine, show up on set for one day. We'll kill both of you.
You know what really sucks about that scene? Valkyrie, I guess, was on that ship, and she apparently just died off screen somewhere.
Well, you see her body, but also you see Thor's body, and then he turns up alive later. So they've left themselves wiggle room. Also, nobody who died in this movie is necessarily dead for reasons we'll get to. I would like to get to
for comic book reasons.
Yes,
right. Well, and then a little later in the movie, Thanos, in order to get the Soul Stone, he murders his daughter Gamora, and then
which is the scene where I talk about in editing. He throws her off a cliff, and while it's dramatically watching her fall, the camera cuts in such a way that I actually thought there was like a malfunction in the screening room.
Oh, that's what you were talking about. The fact that we didn't. Okay, well,
I'm not saying I needed to watch her head split open like a melon. I'm saying it was poorly edited. It was a bad job.
Oh,
they didn't do it well.
I bet I can explain that. I bet that's one of the things I had to cut to get to PG-13.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, I think that's all there is to it. They shot it a certain way. They wanted it to look like that. They had to cut it, and based on what they shot already, and the fact that they weren't going to do another round of reshoots, I bet they just says, "This is what we got. I guess we're just cutting around this as best we can," and that's probably what happened. And that sucks, but like I bet I get it.
Agreed.
Anywho,
does he? I guess he must gut Vision too, then, huh?
He wants Vision's jelly bean out of his forehead, and then Vision just straight up dies. And then once he gets all of the stones, he's like, "This feels good" or something. I don't remember what he says.
Yeah, that's how he says it.
He says, "Infinity boner."
Then Thor,
Josh Brolin-licious.
Okay.
Hey, I love Josh Brolin.
Yeah, he owns.
Okay, so anyway, Thor fucks everyone's shit up, and he uses his big new weapon to stab Thanos, and you're like, oh, and then Thanos is like, you should have gone for the head, and then he snaps his fingers, and half of the superheroes die.
Which half? The handsome half?
Spider-Man, Drax, Star-Lord, Groot, Bucky, Black Panther, fuck.
Fuck is my favorite.
That's a pretty handsome half.
Yeah, it's a lot of the main characters.
Groot's my bad.
Scarlet Witch. Basically, you will notice, however, that Thor, Hulk, Black Widow,
Captain America,
Iron Man, and Captain America, the Avengers from the first Avengers movie, they are all okay.
It's almost like they have to go on an adventure to get the glove back so they can bring everyone back.
Oh,
man,
what a setup.
Yeah, basically, everyone dies, but everyone dies in like they turn into dust and fade away. I guess they all have like pretty sad endings. The two, I guess, the saddest ones are when Rocket has to see Groot die again, and I realize this is apparently another Groot, but still, it's a lot for Rocket to deal with. And when Spider-Man dies, he was very David Tennant. He was like, I don't want to go.
Yeah,
I don't want to go.
I will admit, I choked up a little. I didn't cry, but it was watching a teenager realize they're dying, and his performance is very strong. And I was like, oh,
Tom Holland is a phenomenal actor.
Yeah, that was an effective scene.
There was a fake out where Thanos impales Iron Man, and you're like, oh, this is the big one that I guess we're getting, and he patches himself up with nanobots or something. Yeah. He is super fine by the end.
Yeah, this movie goes out of its way to undermine its own drama frequently. Like, there's a part where Doctor Strange looks into the future and he says, I found one way we can win. And then he doesn't elaborate, and then later he does a thing which seems dumb. He just gives Thanos one of the stones, and they're like, why'd you do that? It's like, I don't know, maybe he looked into the future and he saw that's how they win in the next movie, you dinguses.
Yeah, That's clearly that is presumably what's going on. I have some like needlessly nitpicky poking holes through that thing. There are infinite possibilities. There must be a possibility where Thanos just trips over his own shoelaces and breaks his goddamn
Well, he
neck.
didn't say he looked at all of them. He said he looked at like
come
14
on.
million, and he ran out of time.
It's Thanos. He Velcros his shoes.
So anyway, half of them die, and the movie just kind of ends like that. Oh, I'm sorry. There are more people who die. Nick Fury dies. Maria Hill
How I
dies.
Met Your Mother dies.
Yeah.
How I Met Your Mother?
She does.
Right.
Nick Fury dies while saying motherfucker, but he disappears in the pho. So that was fun. That was a great, sad, funny moment for the last part of the movie.
That was funny. We keep saying dies. None of these people are dead. I don't buy it for a second. Gamora isn't dead. She's in the Soul Stone. When we keep saying dead, we're being what the wrestling community calls marks.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about like I'm seeing all these like people reacting to the movie, and they're like devastated in the way that people, I guess, were bringing back to Game of Thrones with the Red Wedding because those characters are totally dead. But in the second, I'm sorry, but most of them cannot be dead simply because we already know there's another Spider-Man movie coming up. We definitely know there's going to be another Black Panther movie coming
Guardians
up.
of the Galaxy.
There's all kinds of other shit going down. What I thought in my mind, that I thought everyone who died before the finger snap is gone.
No,
but
Gamora's
at the
fine.
same time, but at the same time, I'm like, are they really gonna kill off Gamora? And when we know Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is coming out, because that doesn't make sense. So I guess she will be able to be.
She's not dead. She's in
know.
the Soul Stone.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true because he did a little like dream sequence when he got to see her as a child again.
Her soul in the stone.
Yeah. So
yeah, the only people who are maybe dead are Heimdall and Loki, and even then, I think that's really up to the actors. If they want to come back, they can. That's
I'm sure
not off the table. So that was a long-winded way of explaining who dies. What I'm interested in is, did you actually think this was effective? Because as someone who doesn't read comics, one of the reasons I never want to get into comics is because I know death doesn't fucking mean anything.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
That is a thing that will always be in the back of my mind whenever there are any stakes in a comic book. Because no matter what, with the rarest, like astronomical, like you'd have to like put but all the people who have ever like been a named character, like even a supporting character in a comic book, and put him up against anyone who's stayed dead for like, let's say 30 years or more. There's not a lot. Even the people who you think are never coming back, like Bucky, came back after decades, and look, I'm okay with characters sometimes being brought back, but when it's a given, it robs a little of the stakes and the tension, no matter what. And I've heard so many people say, like, it doesn't matter, the stories are still good. I'm like, yeah, but I'm always going to think about that.
I think you guys are misunderstanding, like, where the aim of this movie gun is going.
No, not the movie. I specifically want to draw a line between the movie and the comics because I think this works because they've never done it before. This is the 19th movie, and this is the first time they've ever pulled this card. I think it works this time. It might even work next time. It's 3, 4, 5, 6. That's when I check out. Right, because I know comics have done it 100 times, and so they're dead to me. Right now,
they actually. I hate to correct you, but they have done it before.
They've killed half the universe.
No, I'm talking about they've brought characters who had a big dramatic death back.
Yes, Swooperman came back.
No, I'm talking about in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Agent Coulson was the big dramatic death in the Avengers, and then he was back for the series.
Yeah, but he came back to TV.
I've never seen that show, so he's dead to me.
Okay, that's
like,
whatever.
That's like coming
you want.
back as a ghost.
I'm saying, as far as the movies as their own thing, which they are in terms of scale, just the amount of people who have seen them. I think this movie universe still has credibility, and the big crossover event still feels fresh. In comics, they're always crossing over. They're always all together. It's always jumbled. It's always huge, big stakes. Oh no, the world's ending. So it means nothing. It's all noise. But because this is the first time they've done it, it still feels like the first time.
It'd be different if it was HBO or Showtime or something like that, you know? But, like, it was network TV. So, yeah. It's
oh, my
like
God, we're still back on
ghost.
this. Okay,
I
whatever.
love you, Johnny.
Here's the thing. If literally everyone comes back,
Everyone's coming back, but I think Iron Man and Captain America have to die to do it, because I think those actors went out of their contracts.
Yeah, that's if that's what happens, then okay. But if someone does, snaps their fingers and everything goes back to normal, like right before Thanos invaded Thor's ship and everything's hunky-dory, then I'm like, dude, that's too much all at once. You blew your resurrection budget, and now I just I won't ever believe it in the future.
We're not talking about infinite resources of the fan fiction that is comic books, where you can constantly be like, okay, well, we've got a new writer, like, we really loved your work on blah, and he's like, I want to bring back so-and-so, and be like, okay, bring us a draft. We're like, this is a finite resource in terms of the actor's time
and life,
whether or not they want to do it, their lives,
age.
Pardon me. Yeah, like this is these people have to get let go at some point in time.
Yeah,
and
I mean that's true.
The studio and the actors, everybody involved in the project, have to decide for themselves what's the best way to do it. Do we Spider-Man 3 it? Or do we actually have something resembling a graceful exit?
Okay, I was waiting to see how you define Spider-Man 3ing it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, can I say, though, knowing what happens in the comic, I know Thanos snaps his finger and everyone disappears, and then my understanding is in the comics, his blue daughter gets the glove, and then they wrestle it away from her, and then Thanos just quits and becomes a farmer. Like, that's how this
for a while.
That's how this event ends, essentially, is he just quits after a certain point. I think they're going to change a lot, partially because the main character of Infinity War, the main good guy, Adam Warlock, isn't in the Marvel Cinematic Universe at all, so they're going to have to change a lot of stuff, and that's interesting, and that opens up possibilities, so I am jazzed about that. But going into this movie, knowing what I know, I said, oh, the way this movie's going to end is he's going to get the last gem and snap his fingers, and then it'll snap to black. His fingers will...
That's exactly what I thought it was going to happen.
Yeah,
too.
His fingers will summon the credits. But the fact that they show it for 10 sustained minutes of everyone dying and this really good ash effect that is already a meme, just showing I saw one of Frasier turning into dust, and he was like, Niles, I don't feel so good. First of all, chef kiss, mwah, 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 perfect meme. Second of all, it was a bold choice, and I definitely could see someone saying that's too fucking dark for this kids movie, but it works, and it's iconic in a way that is unique to these movies. The comics don't have that, and that that's so cool.
Yeah, I will say that it is dark for a kids movie. If we are calling PG-13 movies kids movies, but it's not like their heads exploded. They died in a sad way, but in a way that is completely gore-free.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been lame if all their heads exploded. That's too far. The thing they did was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. They died in the most pristine, sanitized way you could possibly die.
Which is his stated objective. His motive is he wants to do this quick and clean. Which... we could talk about his motivation more if you want. Personally, it's fine for a movie superhero villain. It's not like, I'm not like, damn, Moby Dick 2 up in this bitch, but it's fine.
Yeah. For the most part, I will say that I enjoyed my time watching the movie. I only missed 2 minutes of it because I had to go to the bathroom. So when Rocket was like, "Okay, it's time to have a sad scene with Thor," I'm like, "I'm done. I have to go." Like, I bet I know exactly how the scene is going to go. Mm-hmm. I don't need to watch it. I'm sure it was very heartfelt and touching. No. Didn't need to, and I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything. I'm sure it was a very good scene, but at some point in a movie, I'm always gonna have to leave for a couple minutes because I'm old, and I wait for that down moment at that one point in the screenplay where they have to get sad for a moment before they do their big rally, and I can pretty much see it these days. Yeah. I've watched enough movies, so I feel like I picked the right point. Was that scene any good, Austin? That's the only spoiler I don't know yet.
Yeah, it was fine. He talks about how sad he is about everything that happened, and then Rocket says, like, okay, so what happens if you get revenge? Then what? And then Thor, like, pretends that it doesn't bother him, that he has nothing left to go back to, but it clearly does. And then Rocket makes a joke about the eyeball he gives him having been up his ass. That's real. That's not a joke.
Good.
It is a joke.
Oh, cool.
It's not. It is a real thing that happens in the movie.
It's very good. There is a very nice scene. I know I laughed a couple times in the movie. I think the most I laughed was when Rocket met the Winter Soldier, and he's like, "Can I have your arm?" And that's because that's his thing. And he's like, "No." And Rocket says, "I'm going to get that arm." And that was great. That is a very good callback.
Yeah. It's an extremely funny movie. It's the tone. You could call it uneven, but it's exactly the tone I love. It's just like shocking violence. Jokes, shocking violence. Jokes. Just for 2.5 hours. That's my thing. Yeah. I love that part to bits. And just like as a writer, like the writerly perspective, the way that they managed to do that without robbing either one of its power and always making all of the stakes clear. You always know what everyone's doing and why, and everyone has time. And like it's very impressive craft wise. The problem is the story they were given isn't great. It's just like there's a bad guy who wants to kill half the universe, but they need to fail, so there's another movie.
Yeah.
Remind me, the Russo brothers wrote the script as well as directed, didn't they?
I don't think so. No, I think a team of 100 chimpanzees at typewriters. No,
right.
No, I'm joking. No, these things are always written by committee.
That screenplay by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely.
Okay.
Wait, Mr. McFeely?
Those are probably the two credited ones. There are almost certainly a lot of other hands in that. So, but yeah. That's
cool. Kevin Feige is always all over this. Is that how you pronounce his name?
I believe so.
I genuinely don't know. Yeah. Okay, so...
A couple other things real quick, though.
Yeah, sure.
I brought up the mini-bosses, because you can't just have them fight Thanos for 2.5 hours. So for most of it...
Strawberry Razor Blades?
Yeah, Strawberry Razor Blades and her Fab 3. I think there's, 4 of them total. They are interesting. They feel very video gamey, where they're like, all right, you need to face us 2 times. The first time we're going to show off some of our abilities, and you're going to beat us back, but then we're going to come back later, powered up, and then, it's very... very video games. And actually, I talked when Doctor Strange came out, Leon said he fucking hated it, and I said I like it because it's like a very high budget video game.
That's probably why I hated it.
It kind of is.
It is, and there's a lot of that sensibility in here, and especially in the high flying CGI fight scenes and stuff, and like all of that, the Thanos fight on Titan and all the mini boss squads fights have this very video game feel that I'm pretty into. I know Leon doesn't love it. I bet you probably don't have strong feelings about the fight scenes, do you?
I liked the first fight scene with the wizard alien because it was like, oh, cool, we're gonna get some like cool wizardy fight stuff, and it was gonna be fun. And that of course the fact that it was like the first big fight scene though, I got a little ramped up about it. But in general, no, they're just. Oh no, I did rather enjoy the final Thanos. No, not the final Thanos. The Thanos on Titan fight scene with Iron Man and all of them. I was like screaming at Star-Lord.
Yeah, I know. It was soon as they had him in a trance and Star-Lord starts walking over, I just leaned over my brother and goes, "Here it goes. He's about to fuck it up." So,
yeah, you destroyed the universe, dude.
Yeah.
Good job.
I do admire their commitment to him being a bad person. In a lot of movies, they do the Han Solo thing where it's like, oh, he's the rogue with a heart of gold. Actually, he's just a hero. It's fine. He's a hero. But no, Star-Lord is a bad person who hurts everyone around him. He needs to be stopped.
Yeah, he. I feel like he's trying, but not enough, and that's what I feel like Star-Lord is. I feel like I don't feel like he's as they say in the first movie, 100% a dick, but I think he is a guy who isn't trying hard enough, dude. All you had to do was wait like a minute, and then you could have murdered this dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's it. I did rather enjoy it. So I had a good time, and I snuck in snacks and ate them, and it was good.
Yeah.
That was always good. I want to talk very briefly about the fact that some asshole on Twitter said that bringing snacks into a movie theater.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the discourse.
Is bad, and he got dragged by like no one was coming to this guy's defense, because even if you work in a movie theater and it's your job to stop people from doing that, you also get probably paid very little by this movie theater, and you probably are gonna have to be one of those guys too. So fuck all that.
There's nothing shittier than people who have strong opinions about nothing. Like people who are like, say thank you, not no problem. Like, how about you eat my entire asshole? How about that?
Yeah, this is the worst. The one, if you want to die on a hill, you better make sure it's good. This is the worst one to die on. Not cool.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
The other discourse. There's a lot of discourse about this movie. One was that there's A.O. Scott, like one of the most important film critics in the country, wrote like, I don't know who these people are. They don't explain anything.
Oh, is this the New York Times article?
Yeah. My brother, who's only seen Black Panther and Guardians of the Galaxy, those are the only two Marvel movies he's seen. He watched the whole movie and he was not lost at all. Like, just be a big boy. It's not hard.
Yeah. It's fine. Also, like, someone who was not me pointed this out. I just can't remember who it was. I'm not trying to steal credit. Said something along the lines of, it's not so. If the issue isn't that you haven't seen these movies, the issue is if you weren't interested in seeing these movies, why are you watching this one? So, oh well. Any other thoughts about the Infinity War and all the magic and things?
I could go on, but people who don't care are probably already frustrated. So we can move on. Johnny, do you have any topics this week?
Yo.
I guess that was a quick drop, Austin. You just Johnny'd me.
Yeah. How was it? Soy sauce. Johnny, do it
I
again.
wasn't prepared for it, man.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, if you're gonna Johnny me, it better be at a time where I'm not experiencing weird brain chemical shifts.
Yeah, tell us about it, stud.
Yeah. All right. So, I think I mentioned in passing last week that I'm on meds now. It might have been the week before that. Forgive me. My brain is working irregularly right now. So the reason why I didn't get to go see, actually, in Infinity War this week is that I'm on an SSRI, a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, at this point in time, and have been for about 2.5 weeks. And we started out 2 weeks at a really quite a low dose. And then after 2 weeks, my doctor said, okay, then I want you to double that so that we can get to a more regular kind of area. Now, the goal of this medication is not to be on meds for the rest of my life. It's a complementary medication to the psychological therapy I'm doing, which, for anybody who's interested, is cognitive behavioral therapy, because it's tool-based. It's homework that you can take home and help yourself be a better person without actually just, let me rephrase that. It's tools that you can take home so that you don't just wander into a therapist's office and vent for an hour and then come out and go, oh my God, I just yelled at a stranger for like an hour and I feel better. Like, you can do things with it. It's about reinforcement exercises, learning how to properly calm yourself down, manage your anxiety, etc., so on and so forth. But I needed a kick. I have been having a really bad time of it lately. Just today, I finished putting in paperwork to my work that is going to put me on short-term disability leave, which actually has to do with this SSRI that I'm on right now, because I am fucked right now. I think I tweeted late last night that I feel terrible, and then a couple hours later I was like, update, I feel better, but I still feel terrible. Yeah, I'm taking like minor seizures and autonomic response problems, which basically means I can't control my body. So, yeah, it's been strange. Like, I've been worried about leaving the house and shit like that. 'Cause there were just like, there are times where I can't hold my phone straight and I can't type properly. Now, I want this to be clear. I was told by my doctor that anytime you start medication, change medication, like ramp it up or like ramp it down or something like that, side effects are a thing. Like homeostasis. Do you guys know the word homeostasis? Do you know what that means?
I actually do not.
It's like the equilibrium your body naturally is at, like it tries to be at.
Yeah. So homeostasis is basically where your body says, okay, this is where we're living at right now, and it tries very desperately to adjust its internal rhythms to create a situation in which you can function. Because if you can't function, then too bad. This is why people go through withdrawal symptoms when you've been on when you've been drinking for days at a time or something like that, or you've been steadily engaged in any kind of narcotic ingestion or whatever. The word narcotic has a lot of really social negative connotations to it, but the point being is that the longer your body is exposed to a thing on a regular basis, your body will adjust to it. And your body goes, oh, okay. I know for a fact, because of familial problems, that alcoholism, when you live on alcohol for a long time, everything, people misunderstand the whole concept of stimulant and depressant, where they're like, a stimulant makes you happy and a depressant makes you sad. That's not what it does. They either ramp up or slow down your biological functions. So when you drink alcohol, you don't think as quickly, you don't react as quickly. Your blood is thinner and your heart beats faster, and it does all these weird things. Your body basically jumps in and tries to make up for what's going on, and creates this stasis, and goes, oh, okay, so this is where we are right now, homeostasis. That's what it means. So, when you are introducing new substances into your system over a long period of time, your body just kind of goes, what? Okay, how am I going to deal with this? Okay, let's try shaking uncontrollably, which is what I've kind of been experiencing right now. So, my doctor has told me that when you get introduced to these things and when you change them up, things get kind of fucked up. And I'm in the area where people usually quit. I had a really low dose for 2 weeks, and then about half a week ago on Thursday, I was advised to up my dosage to a more middling level. And I started taking weird symptoms. So yeah, there's shakes and tremors and autonomic response and small seizures and things like that, which my doctor is aware of. But I'm also getting like micro sweats, which sounds like a weird thing, but it's like, have you ever sweated for just like 5 seconds?
I'm basically always sweating, Johnny, so...
Yeah, I know, but that's like Austin.
Yeah.
Half of that probably isn't even sweat. Half of that is probably just humidity.
I'm just a juicy boy. Let's go.
Yeah, but you're my juicy boy, so...
Florida's so humid.
But yeah, so... It's, I've had trouble leaving the house these days because some of the shakes have gotten so bad. But I'm determined to stick with it. Johnny wants to get well. Johnny wants to be well. I'm still doing my best to meditate and things like that and take care. But it's a little tough to stay still and breathe when you're kind of like shaking uncontrollably. Yeah, so I don't really have anything to talk about because all I've really done is pace about with my arms kind of flailing in weird ways and then lie down on the couch and watch iZombie because it sort of feels like something I can watch without actually having to pay attention to it.
Would you say it's brainless? Because
not quite.
Because
no,
because
no, it's clever. If I wanted something brainless, I'd probably watch something like NCIS or I don't know, just like something plotting. But I picked iZombie because like Rob Thomas co-created it, who did Veronica Mars.
The Matchbox 20 guy?
No.
I was about to say the same thing.
I know, right? They do a joke in the show about it where somebody's listening to some music and they're like, "What are you listening to?" And he takes off his headphones and goes, "Oh, Rob Thomas. I really like the way he writes."
Jokes.
Yeah, he did not write that. I checked. I wanted to make sure that was not self-filleting. But yeah, so I'm doing this. I'm taking anti-anxiety meds right now, and that may be why. Like, I don't know. Has my speech been a little interruptive this week?
You seem basically the same to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just like super aware of it. I don't know. I feel weird. I'm fidgeting a lot too. Anyways, updates will maybe happen because I want to talk about this stuff. I want to let people know. Like, I don't want. Maybe somebody else is out there who's like taking their anxiety meds, anti-anxiety, their meds for the first time. And maybe they're experiencing the same thing that I am. It's okay. You know, like, let's check this out. Let's explore. Let's do this, right? Okay, we can talk. So, I'm good. I'm ready for questions.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, we're pretty well into it. I mean, I have other things, but it would, like, pretty much eat into the rest of the show. So
no. Are they important? Do you want them?
It's not super important.
No, Leon.
I will say very
do you want
briefly. Because this will take like
Leon.
30 seconds.
Leon.
Yeah.
Do you want it?
Oh my god. So this will take like 30 seconds. I saw a movie last month called The Void, and it was fine.
Was it deep?
Oh, shut up. It's made by
How long
like people
did you
who
stare into it?
You need to stop. I said it. I wanted to do this in 30 seconds. So this is just one joke. The movie itself is fine. I don't have strong negative or positive feelings about it. I do want to say one thing. The main character is played by an actor who looks just like Aaron Paul. Like He's obviously not, but he looks just like him. He's an Aaron Paul type, you know. You could see the casting agent saying, okay, we can't afford Aaron Paul, but let's get someone who's kind of like Aaron Paul. And so that's what they got. And I was like, who is this guy? He's pretty good. So I looked him up on IMDb, and his name is Aaron Poole. I'm not even joking. And it was the greatest thing I've ever seen on IMDb. The greatest surprise, I would say, in learning about an actor. He's not an Aaron Paul impersonator. Yeah,
I was just sure it's not just Aaron Paul wearing a mustache, like he just wants to do smaller budget films.
It is. He's a real guy and he does his own thing, and I appreciated his presence in this movie. It was fine. I don't have it's a movie where it was made by people who make like purposeful schlock kind of stuff, like Manborg, but they're not like bad filmmakers. They just like this, like heavy genre stuff. And then they tried to make, in this movie, they tried to make something with more weight, and they almost did. I guess it's fine. It's all right. I did like all the practical effects, and that's it. That's all I have to say about it. I just wanted to make that one joke because it was just wonderful, and I forgot to mention it a couple weeks ago. That's it. We can go to questions now.
Okay. Here's a question I'm actually very interested in. Cyretha asks, Leon, what are your reactions to the greatest Royal Rumble last week in Saudi Arabia? Parentheses. Johnny, you want to take this one?
Wrestling!
Thank you. I heard someone tripped.
Yeah, that was the funny part. Someone was running to the ring and he tripped, and he slid all the way under the ring because I guess he was slippery. He went all the way under the ring, and it was a very funny moment. What I will remember most about the Greatest Royal Rumble is that it was state propaganda. Between matches, we would watch things about how great Saudi Arabia is, and how great the prince is because he recently let women drive. But really, he's not really a progressive force in the country, as it turns out. He's executing a lot of people recently by beheading. It's frightening, and not for capital crimes or what we would consider capital crimes either, but for lesser offenses. It's wild there, and he's not great. He knows politics and he knows optics well enough that he will do something completely unimportant, like letting women drive finally, and to make himself look like he's reaching across the aisle or something, or across the world. And he knows optics because he let a big American company have a big show in Saudi Arabia, and he paid him a preposterous amount of money to do this. I don't think WWE should have done it morally, but the government paid over $100 million to WWE just for showing up. And that is a ridiculous amount of money. So yeah, I mean, I get it. If I were a cruel, pragmatic businessman, I would understand why they would do it. But no, this was not cool to do. There was this sort of argument where it's maybe by going, they'll change attitudes in Saudi Arabia. It's dude, no, you're getting it backwards about who's getting played. So that's one thing. For another thing, here's what the immediate aftermath of the show was. As you may have heard, women were not allowed to perform. And WWE just shrugged and said, okay. And, during the show, they would have commercials for WWE stuff. And one of the commercials for WWE featured some women not doing anything provocative or whatever. They were just, there in their normal wrestling attire.
Yeah, but uncovered.
And the Sports Authority, which is just apparently just a wing of their of the Saudi Arabian government, was scandalized and sent out a big thing condemning it, I guess, and apologizing to everyone in the country. If you listen to sort of a bootleg videos of the show, when that happened, people were not scandalized; they were into it. So this is an issue of the state, not necessarily an issue of the people. But whatever.
Yeah, it's 2018. The internet exists. Like, I understand Saudi Arabia is basically a theocracy, and I don't want to speak out of my lane because I do study religion, but Islam is not my area of expertise. These people are still adults. Like, just because they have different standards about gender doesn't mean they don't understand basic biology and stuff. It's fine. They're not going to melt like snowmen.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. There's a lot of other stuff, like apparently Saudi Arabia, in order to rile up the crowd, they brought in two of WWE's wrestlers who are of Iranian heritage, and there's like beef. So the Iranians came out and waving the Iranian flag, and Saudi Arabia was like, "Boo! We hate you. We hate Iran." It's like, okay, this is weird. This is weird to watch as an American.
But that is like 80s wrestling.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. This is weird to watch as an American who watches America's enemies, like in finger quotes here, come out like as characters, and we're supposed to boo them, and watching it happen. Like, this isn't just WWE doing this. This is a state mandated segment in which Iran gets beat down. It's something else. There was a bunch of other stuff like that on the show that made me uncomfortable watching it. The wrestling itself, like the in-ring product, was like passable. There was nothing really all that amazing. The ladder match was pretty good. Those are hard to fuck up. The greatest Royal Rumble itself, meaning like the gigantic match, was fun. You know, if you do that right and have enough like fun surprises, those can be fun. But in general, it was hard. It was hard to watch at times, because it's not just that So anyway, they're going back apparently this November. So this is not like a one-off thing where we're like, well, we got the bad taste out of our mouth on that one. It's like, nope. Now this is just a thing now. Saudi Arabia found an ally in WWE. The fact that WWE has close ties.
Not just WWE.
The United States.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to say. WWE has close ties to the Trump administration as well, and since Saudi Arabia and America sometimes have to like pretend to be friends, I guess.
I talked a little bit about this before, but the whole thing is based on this really terrifying doublethink where we're allies for the purposes of oil, and but on the other hand, hey, guess what? 15 of the 9/11 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is currently carrying out a genocide in Yemen. Like, they are ideologically our enemy in every possible way. But we both agree Iran is bad because...
capitalism!
I mean, obviously we haven't had the best relations, things have happened, but on paper, if we were using our like actual moral brains, none of this would be acceptable. But of course, we are already doing the same thing as well, where we are America, bastion of freedom. Let's reduce Iraq and Afghanistan to smoking rubble. We are also basically carrying out propaganda through football and baseball and yes, wrestling as well. But it doesn't seem weird to us because we grew up with it, right? Like, you sing the national anthem, they fly the jets over. That's super creepy, by the way. Do you ever just stop and think about that? They fly jets over.
Yeah, it is creepy. I'm not in any way excusing any of that bullshit, because why would I? But the reason that it struck me as so odd while watching it is that when, say, I don't know, Major League Baseball does the national anthem before the show or whatever, I don't know what they do. That's this company deciding to do that and, strike people's patriotism to get them to watch or something like that. That's this company deciding to do that. When during the Greatest Royal Rumble, this was all mandated by the government.
So I want to be clear. It's not the company deciding. The U.S. government pays sports to do. It's a
I understand.
Propaganda tool. It may not be mandated.
There are aspects of that, certainly, and that is a thing in film as well.
Yes.
Like the government gives movie studios tax breaks if they paint the military in a good light. I'm aware of all these things
Transformers.
too. But there are what I'm trying to say is there are degrees, I guess you could say, and this was like very much a show controlled by the Saudi Arabian government, whereas a movie like, say, Independence Day 2, which had a weird connection with the government, was still in control by something else. That, again, not making excuses for it. That was some bullshit too. There's just, like I said, there are degrees, and this one just went over. This went into a new territory for me. That was like, oh, this is even more now. Where does this end?
Yeah. Our four.
Anyway.
Come on, Leon, you must have seen Rocky 4, right?
I actually haven't.
Oh my God.
I literally haven't. I
First
don't care
Daft
about
Punk
those
and now
movies.
this. How?
I saw the first Rocky movie. It was fine. I haven't seen any of
I would
the
say
ones.
our foreign relations are nothing but cognitive dissonance, and I weep for people who want to learn about this stuff because it must seem like just incomprehensible gibberish when you look at it, and I'm sorry. Like, I spent a lot of my adulthood trying to learn, and I'm still constantly flummoxed by that. Like, just the richest people on earth being like, I need a propaganda campaign to prop up my tyrannical regime. I know. Sexy boys touching each other. Like, what? What are you talking about? You're so weird. What?
Yeah.
All right.
Austin.
Yeah,
Austin, do you want to know something like super weird?
absolutely.
Okay, so you've seen Rocky 4, right?
If he dies, he dies.
Well, no, I mean, like, not just that, but
Yes, I was
I'd like
indicating yes.
the guy who plays, fucking
The
oh,
robot.
jeez, I can't even remember his name.
Robot Ivan Drago?
No, not Drago.
Apollo Creed.
No, who was the guy who brought down the Iron Curtain?
Are you talking about
Gorbachev.
Ronald Reagan.
Gorbachev. the guy who appears as Gorbachev, David Lloyd Austin, is his
Okay.
name. I was directed by him in a play.
Really?
Yes.
That's
What is
really
he-
cool.
What was fake Gorbachev like?
He was English.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean like English. I think he came from the same kind of like region my dad did. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, he made a career of being Gorbachev in movies.
When you said the guy he brought down the wall, I said Gorba, and then I stopped because I was like trying to remember. Wait, was Reagan in that movie? I fucked myself up.
But yeah. We he directed me in a play called What I Did Last Summer.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Oh my God! I just looked him up. He died.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You think? I think I know that play. So I guess you could say I know what you did last summer.
Well, all right, fine. So here's a question. We'll keep it short, but Gary Funvegas asks, could Kanye fuck up any worse?
Yes.
Since we last talked, he has only dug his hole deeper, and I don't want to go tweet by tweet because who has the time, but he has been...
You can only go lower.
Yeah, he has basically adopted the Trump approach where every day you do something so unbelievably heinous that it's impossible to keep up, and then it just becomes white noise of awful. Like, as if he did one bad thing, you'd focus on it. But if it's just a non-ending stream of awful, you don't know where to put your attention, and eventually you just shut it out, which is the thing he has adopted. So is there any particular awfulness you guys want to discuss?
Not especially.
Okay,
no.
that's fine.
I will just say this, that like we should probably like stop hoping for the best with Kanye, because here's the thing. And I certainly am not the first person to say this. I'm sure I've heard this a few times, but right now he is dangerous when he's helping the right, but like we can't bring him back because he's like a liability as an ally to the left. Yeah. So he's so enjoy his music, and like, I guess, and that's it, because he's not going to really be anything else now.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's been poisoned.
He could say.
Not that I was like, oh, Kanye West is going to be our next great civil rights leader. I'm just saying that, like, it's fine. He's done.
I mean, there is a history of musicians being civil rights leaders. You know, Nina Simone and stuff, getting activist involved.
Harry Belafonte.
Here's the thing. If he was just saying bullshit, fine. He can say, like, open your mind, think about love, don't be a hater, like, whatever. But when he says, like, slavery was a choice, if I was them, I would have just not been a slave. Like, there's nothing to talk about anymore, right? Like, it's just, you're wrestling with a pig, right? You get dirty, the pig likes it, it's over. The only other thing I really want to say about Kanye West is he released a new song, several, but the one I want to talk about is a song called Lift Yourself, and I implored Leon to listen to it, but I don't think he did.
No, I did not. I'm sorry. I feel like that's what he wants, and I want to do the opposite of whatever Kanye West
Fair.
wants.
The thing about Lift Yourself is when I saw it, I was like, oh, like, lift yourself up by your own bootstraps? Oh, okay. So Kanye is, what he actually is a libertarian. He doesn't know it yet. He doesn't have the vocabulary.
Sorry,
his whole thing is just like, I'm successful, why can't all black people be successful? Stop being a victim. Like, okay, whatever, he's wrong, but it's fine. And then I clicked on the song, and it starts off with this soul sample, which is a thing he does. He often recontextualizes old music. That's like one of his strengths. And it's like a 2 minutes.
Go on.
Huh?
Be an apologist, Austin.
So there's the song, and it's playing for like 2 minutes, and there's no Kanye at all. It's just this sample and his production, and it's pretty good. Like, it bops, and it's going, and then he starts talking. He says, "Oh, this next verse to these bars, like, he's getting you ready for his rapping, and I'm gonna read you every single word that he raps in the song. Here we go. Quote: Poopity scoop, scoop." Diddy whoop, whoop-de scoop-de poop, poop-diddy scoop-de, scoop-de whoop, whoopity scoop, whoop poop, poop diddy, whoop scoop, poop poop, scoop diddy whoop, whoop diddy scoop, whoop diddy scoop poop.
Wow, Sean Combs' new name is really hard.
Okay, hang on. Just for a moment, okay. Scatting was really important.
Yes, scatting is a legitimate choice in art and music. It's not.
But that's not it.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing. I would. It's a good troll. It's a good joke, frankly, to release a song that sounds good and then it turns into that. Like, I think that's a pretty good joke. I don't know if that's what he's going for. Where he is right now, I don't know if he knows it's good or bad. I don't know if he knows it's funny. I don't know. Like, if it was anybody else, I would say, oh, I get it now. He released a song that seemed like it was advancing libertarianism, and then it turned into him just saying the word poop over and over. Fuck, that rules. Like, it's a swerve. You thought I was conservative, but actually poop poop poopity poop 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 poop. Like, oh damn, got me, Kanye. But I actually don't know. I don't know anymore. So,
like, Austin, my hands are shaking so much I don't want to shave. Right?
Yeah.
But even I'm suspicious of that.
Yeah. I can't trust him anymore. It might be this whole thing might be a publicity stunt. I don't know.
Yeah, here's the thing. I thought about that. Here's the thing. If he is being awful, like, as a means to get people to listen to his music, and he doesn't actually believe in these things, or if he's being awful because he believes in these things, the consequences are roughly the same. And that's sort of the thing. Like, people will... either take his horrible things to heart or be angry at him. Those are the two of the consequences of what he's saying. Like, his sincerity is almost irrelevant to like what all of this is. I'm not, I in a way, I don't have like a dog in this fight, like in terms of like music. I'm not boycotting Kanye's music. I just didn't listen to it beforehand, and I'm just going to continue with this trend going forward. But as a person who, is part of the world and listens to the discourse, like, some of the shit he says is troubling. And to me, it almost doesn't matter whether he's like, this is all part of my business plan, or this is all part of my sincere political plan,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a shame that I'm not the editor of this show, because I would definitely change the beginning and the outro song to the poopity scoop rap.
There's literally no way that that's going to happen.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's a shame. The world has been robbed.
Sorry.
Next question. Boss asks, what's your favorite poem?
Ooh, The Lady of Shalott.
Wow, you just had it, huh?
Yep, love it.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I really love it. It's neat. I get kind of like emotional towards the end because it's a poem, but it's also like it is a story, and it tells a pretty complete tale, and I just really dig it. I even had there's a famous painting about the Lady of Shalott that I didn't have like the original or anything, but I had a print of it in my old apartment because I thought it looked nice. So I'm into that one. That's not like the only poem I like or anything, but that's what the one like that sort of comes to mind.
I have I don't have a favorite poem, but I have two lines from two segments from E.E. Cummings. The first, while you and I have lips and voices which are for singing and to kiss with. No. While you and I have lips and voices which are for kissing and to sing with, who cares if some one-eyed son of a bitch invents an instrument to measure spring with? Each dream Nassator is not made, why then, to hell with that, the other this, since the thing is to eat flowers and not be afraid. And the other passage from a different poem goes, why then comes peace to a man who was always a man, while to a man who sometimes a god is, I, the lost shoulders, S, the empty spine. I might be misquoting those.
It's okay.
It's still pretty impressive off the top of your head.
I sometimes get the lines wrong, even in the poems that I really like, so that's cool. Yeah. Austin, what about you?
I wanted to sound like really smart and say like, oh, the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner or something, but my brain immediately just started doing Shel Silverstein, and that's just where I'm at.
That's fine.
Oh!
No, that's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with little Shel Silverstein.
So
I should have said the fucking hell.
No, it's okay. No, we can go back. What is the other one you wanted to say, Johnny?
The Devil and Billy Markham.
Okay.
All right, hang on.
Oh my god.
Specifically, while he's looking it up, Boa Constrictor by Shel Silverstein is burned into all of my brain meat forever.
Oh, now I'm gonna look it up.
So, this is a show we're doing, huh?
It is. I was gonna go to a poetry reading the other night, but then I was like, I don't feel like moving. My neck hurts. That's it. Yeah.
Gotta know your limits.
I do. I haven't been to the gym in a week, and I'm like, it's not good for my body that this is happening. But I hurt my neck the other day. Not doing anything like cool, but by starting to run quickly, it like unexpectedly, and apparently my head was like, no, I'm not ready for this, and it's hurt for almost a week now. Yeah.
Johnny, you find it?
I'm looking.
All right.
I found yours, Austin.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's extremely good.
It's pretty good. It is. That ending.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. We have more questions if you want to do a quick one in the meantime.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna look.
Yeah. This came up on our other show. We didn't talk about it long, but Book of Love asks, LaCroix, why good?
Is that how you pronounce it?
I tweeted a long time ago. Do you ever get the feeling that you drank a LaCroix and just forgot it?
Okay, here's the thing. I know a lot of memes about this drink, and yet I've never drank it. Also, I've never heard it said out loud before, and I always, in my mind, I always pronounce it LaCroix. So there's that.
Okay, that was enlightening.
Thank you.
It's just mildly flavored carbonated water. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Mildly? That's a strong word.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Someone once said that drinking a can of it is like drinking water and someone in the other room shouting the name of a flavor.
Yeah.
So that's something.
Yeah, my Dice Funk co-host Lauren likes it a lot, and she was trying to talk about how much she liked it on Dice Funk, and everyone else is like, no, it's ass water for idiots.
Does she pronounce it LaCroix?
No, LaCroix. I mean, I think I heard it from her, so if she's wrong, I'm wrong, but that's how I hear it.
Okay. I refuse to call it anything else in my head, so I'm sorry. It's in there.
All right.
Okay.
I got it.
Yo. Okay.
Hang on. Let's say goodbye, and I'll do this as the end.
Okay.
Okay. So how much time do we have? We're almost out of time. Real quick, because this is timely. On the 27th of April, there was a big pop culture event. Do you guys know about this? This is the only thing that happened that day. There was no other cultural events that happened on that day.
I genuinely don't know what we're talking about, and I feel dumb because clearly you're making it sound like I should.
Yeah. The joke was that was also the day Infinity War came out.
420.
No.
Oh, was that it?
How could 420 have happened on the 27th?
Dude, it happens every day.
All right. The joke is that Dominaria, the latest Magic the Gathering set, came out on the same day as Avengers Infinity War, which is probably a PR mistake. But the question is, Jade, our Doctorate of Questions, says, any fun Dominaria stories? So, I'll try to make this as fast as possible so Leon doesn't die. The new Magic the Gathering set is extraordinarily good. And the more I play this game, as I've gotten back into it recently, the more I realize every set is, in addition to being a game, it's a very complex, nuanced, exciting, interesting game. It's really a work of art. And that sounds goofy, but I promise you, as it is. Just because game design is an art. And the way these things work together, the tensions in the system, meaningful choices, different ways you can alter the pace of the game. When you really get into it, it's extremely, extremely interesting. To me, a psychopath. So, I very much like Dominaria, and if this was a different show, I would get more into it. But for this audience, maybe I'll just say it is extremely good. And if you are interested at all, I would check that out. But also, there is a YouTuber who I've been watching recently, who has. I'm going to say this out loud. I don't know if I've ever heard this word spoken, so I'm probably going to fuck it up. It's called Rhystic Studies. Also, it's named after a magic thing, but it is spelled RHYSTIC space and then studies, the way that word is spelled. This is a channel on YouTube where it goes through a bunch of magic stuff. Most of it's art, so they'll talk about all the art of the game. And like, oh, here, look at these brush strokes, or like, here's how the vanishing point accentuates the scale of this piece, and this is influenced by Italian futurism and that kind of stuff, and that's good. But there's also things in there about like game design. Like, there's a card called One with Nothing, which is a famous card because it seems to do nothing, and someone won a tournament with it once, and it's like, just that kind of stuff is just so fucking cool, and I want to share that with everybody, and I don't know how to make it interesting if you don't already care about this game. So that's a thing I'm struggling with. In other news, I'm still playing Magic Arena. They updated the economy. One of Johnny, you asked for updates on this. They took out. So it used to be every time you won, you got a random card, and most of them are worthless commons, and people were complaining. So they took that out, but they did add in the completing daily missions gives you more of the currency. That was just the kind of the balance. I don't know if I like that or not. It doesn't really matter because I'm always going to be playing it free to play anyway. So that's just how that works. In real life, we pulled some packs and did some cool stuff. My local play group, the people I play with, really enjoy it. We pulled Yargle, who is a new meme. He's a giant frog monster, and every time you pull one out of a pack, you have to just scream Yargle, which is very fun. I highly encourage everyone to just say the word Yargle. It's good.
Yargle!
Yeah, wasn't it good?
Yargle.
I like it.
Hey, Austin.
Yeah.
Yargle me.
Wow.
Yargle me, daddy.
It's a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
Let's leave.
Yeah, we should leave. Thank you, everybody, for talking to me about the alien man with the glove. And other stuff. Kanye, he's bad.
The devil walked into Lenboz on a rainy Nashville night, while the lost souls sat and sipped their soup in the sickly yellow neon light. And the devil, he looked round the room, then got down on his knees. He says, "Is there one among you, scum, who rolled the dice with me?" Red, he just strums the guitar, pretending not to hear. And Eddie, he just looks away, takes another sip of beer. "Vince," he says, "not me, I'll pass. I've had my share of hell." And kept scribbling on a napkin some song he was sure he would sell. Ronnie just kept whispering low to the snuff queen who clutched at his sleeve, and somebody coughed, and the devil scoffed and turned on his heel to leave. "Hold on," says a voice from the back of the room, "'fore you walk out that door. If you're looking for some action, friend, well, I've rolled some dice before." And there stood Bully Markham. He'd been on the scene for years, singing all them raunchy songs that the town didn't want to hear. He'd been cut and bled 1,000 times, and his eyes were wide and sad. And all his songs were the songs of the street, and all his luck was bad. "I know you," says Billy Markham, "from many a dark and funky place, but you always spoke in a different voice and wore a different face. While me, I've gambled here on Music Row with hustlers and with whores. And hell, I ain't afraid to roll them devilish dice of yours." "Well then get down," says the devil, just as if you was gonna pray. "And take these dice in your luckless hands, and I'll tell you how this game is played. You get one roll, and you bet your soul. And if you roll 13, you win. And all the joys of flesh and gold are yours to touch and spend. But if that 13 don't come up, then kiss your ass goodbye. And we'll use your bones to God, 'cause goddamn, your soul is mine." "13, says Billy Markham. Hell, I've played in tougher games. I've loved ambitious women, and I've rode on wheelless trains. So gimme room, you stinking fiend, and let it all unwind. Nobody's ever rolled a 13 yet, but this just might be the time. Then Billy Markham, he takes the dice, and the dice feel heavy as stones. They should, the devil says, 'cause they're carved from Jesus' bones. And Billy Markham turns the dice, and the dice, they have no spots. I'm sorry, says the devil, but they're the only dice I got. Well, shit, says Billy Markham. Now, I really don't mean to bitch, but I never thought I'd stake my rule in a sucker's game like this. Well, then walk off, says the devil. Nobody's tied you down. Walk off where, says Billy Markham. It's the only game in town. But I just want to say, 'fore I make my play, that if I should chance to lose, I will this guitar to some would-be star who'll play some honest blues, who ain't afraid to sing the words like damn or shit or fuck, and who ain't afraid to put his ass on the stage where he makes his bucks. But if he plays this guitar safe and sings some sugary lies, I'll haunt him till we meet in hell. Now gimme them fucking dice. And Billy Markham shakes the dice and yells, "Come on, 13!" And the dice they roll, and they come up blank. "You lose!" the devil screams. But I really must say, before we go our way, that I really do like your style. Of all the fools I've played and beat, you're the first one who lost with smile. Well, I'll tell you something, Billy Markham says. Those weren't too damn bad. In 14 years on Music Row, that's the best damn chance I've had. Then arm in arm, Billy Markham and the devil walked through Linbaugh's door, leaving Billy's old beat-up guitar there on the floor. And if you go into Linbaugh's now, you can see it there today, hanging from a nail on the wall, peeling gray. Billy Markham's old guitar that nobody dares to play.